It looks like USC and Miami have landed brand new starting quarterbacks via the transfer portal, plus a potentially brand new bowl game for 2024 that would be must-watch television. All of that and more on today's episode of 4th and 10, 4 college football stories in just around 10 minutes. Now, let's go for it. Before we get to today's video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you're watching this video, odds are that you love college football, and odds are you aren't subscribed to my channel, so make sure to subscribe to one of the best college football communities here on YouTube. USC added a quarterback in the transfer portal, which would have been pretty shocking to hear just a few days ago. They landed former UNLV quarterback Jayden Maiava. This move is pretty shocking considering just days prior, the quarterback announced that he would be transferring to Georgia. I didn't even get a chance to cover that in a video because that's how short-lived his time was there. This move makes a lot more sense as I didn't really understand why he chose Georgia to begin with. Carson Beck is going to be back in 2024 and will be probably one of the leading Heisman candidates to start the season. Plus, they have a couple of really good backup quarterbacks as well. So with a pretty stacked quarterback room, he heads to USC where he'll be battling for the starting job. Maiava was a redshirt freshman this past year while UNLV. He emerged as one of the better up-and-coming quarterbacks in the nation as the Rebels had one of their best seasons in recent memory. He threw for over 3,000 yards with 17 passing touchdowns while adding 300 yards on the ground and 3 rushing scores as well. There's been a lot of change in the quarterback room at USC so far this offseason. First off, they'll be losing last year's starter Caleb Williams to the NFL draft. Then they saw their backup quarterback Malachi Nelson, the #1 overall prospect in the 23 class, transferred to Boise State. They do have backup Miller Moss, who started the Holiday Bowl and threw for over 350 yards with 6 touchdowns, but he doesn't have a lot of experience. USC didn't sign a high school quarterback for the 2024 class, so right now it looks like it's down to Maiava and Moss. Overall, this is a little underwhelming for USC as they head into the Big Ten next season. We all knew they were going to add a quarterback this season via the transfer portal, but I thought they were probably going to land one of the bigger names. Maiava was great for UNLV this past season, and I'm not knocking him, but that's going to be quite the jump as he switches to the Big Ten. If he doesn't win the job, it's probably going to be Miller, but he doesn't really have a whole lot of experience at all. If USC struggled this much this past year with Caleb Williams at the helm, I think the 2024 campaign is going to be very rough for the Trojans as they make the transition to the Big Ten Conference. Speaking of landing a transfer quarterback, it looks like Miami got their starter for 2024. Former Albany quarterback Reese Poffenbarger, the most prolific quarterback in the FCS this past season, is transferring to the Hurricanes. He led the FCS in passing touchdowns with 36 and passing yards with 3,600. Miami was pretty active in the transfer portal this offseason as they hosted visits from Kansas State quarterback Will Howard and Washington State quarterback Cam Ward. But Will Howard committed to Ohio State and Cam Ward entered the NFL draft. Poffenbarger generated a lot of interest from Power 5 schools and chose Miami due to the scale of opportunity that it presents. Originally, he walked on at Old Dominion before transferring to Albany, where he played for 2 seasons. He's a former Maryland State Player of the Year and a first-team All-State quarterback coming out of high school. According to ESPN, Poffenbarger said he clicked immediately with Miami offensive coordinator Shannon Dawson, and he loved the culture of head coach Mario Cristobal. He said he prioritized an offensive coordinator who he could sing together with and has a similar mindset of an absolute competitor. Here's what he told ESPN. Every offensive coordinator has the ability to install all the cool plays and call them. It's whether or not you're going to trust me. It was almost immediately clear that our personalities would mesh really well. Who has the roster and people in place to make a push to win every game that they play? Miami's roster is flooded with guys who can play in the NFL and make elite plays at this level. They have elite talent in wide receiver and tailback and a defense that can choke people out. Albany went 3-8 in Poffenbarger's first season, but they went 11-4 this past year, including a trip to the FCS semifinals, and that was largely due to the play of their quarterback. We've seen a number of FCS quarterbacks make the jump and thrive at the FBS highest level over the years, and I wouldn't be surprised if Reese Poffenbarger is the next one. Today's video is actually going to be 3rd and 10 because we're wrapping things up with this final story. With bowl season finally over, there's a chance we see one more bowl game added to the schedule in 2024. It's going to be a new bowl that features the 2 worst teams in the FBS, titled the Irrelevant Bowl. Here's what the brand new website had to say about the game. Bowl season now complete, it's time to stop celebrating mediocrity and 500 teams winning games against other 6-6 teams. It's time for the Irrelevant Bowl. Newport Beach's Roy Inglebright, an innovator and Hall of Fame promoter, has come up with a concept that college football coaches, players, media, and fans are sure to latch onto, just like they've done with the title of Mr. Irrelevant awarded at the end of the NFL draft and celebrating the last player selected. No polls, no rankings, no controversy, just 2 winless or near winless teams looking for redemption and 1 elusive win. Knowing that the NCAA has become more flexible with the number of teams wins to qualify for a bowl, I will petition the NCAA asking them to grant a waiver in 2024 so that 2 teams would be eligible to play in the inaugural Irrelevant Bowl. If there had been an Irrelevant Bowl played this past December, it would have featured 2-10 Vanderbilt facing 1-11 Akron. The Irrelevant Bowl will provide 6-figure payouts to 2 teams, along with team travel, team loading lodging, and team meals in a host city to be determined. And should either of the last 2 teams picked pass on playing, the next lowest team would be invited. To be considered as a host city for this monumental event, a city would place a bid in the first quarter of 2024 covering lodging and meals for the 2 teams, all stadium expenses, and a $1 million site fee. The host city would retain all event revenue, including ticket sales, concession sales, and parking revenue. Now, there are some reports that have already come out since this drop that suggest this might not end up happening. Here's what Brett McMurphy had to say. There is no chance NCAA would issue a waiver and allow a proposed Irrelevant Bowl in 2024 matching college football's 2 worst teams. A conference or a team is not going to mock itself for going 1-11 or 2-10, a source said. A promoter said he wants to create the bowl with cities bidding to host the game. If there was any way to bet on this, I would bet against it. I don't see anyone standing up for this. So maybe we don't get this after all, but I think myself and every college football fan can agree this would be fantastic. I mean, if a college football team finished the season 1-11 or 2-10, they're probably already feeling bad enough about themselves as it is, so why not give them a chance to finish their season with a victory? Plus, it brings in money for the school, it's a lot of fun for the fans, and overall, I think this would be a win-win for everyone involved. Well, that wraps it up for today's episode of 3rd and 10. What are your thoughts on Miami and USC's brand new starting quarterbacks? Also, do you think there should be an Irrelevant Bowl? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comment section down below. Before you leave, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. I'm posting college football videos all off season, so make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. Also, don't forget to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.